Hey everybody, James here, Coates Classic Cars from the Birmingham Collection Car Barn. This is where we keep our project cars, a few of our wedding and event cars, and the things that we're working on as far as maintenance and restoration and stuff like that. So this is something we want to try to do on a relatively frequent basis, maybe weekly if we can. Might not be able to do it every week, but we get a lot of questions about what goes on behind the scenes and how we keep the fleet going and what goes into all of that. If you tuned in last week, one of the things that I showed was a little bit about what we go through on a weekly basis and also on an annual basis as far as maintenance on the cars. And my good friend Jeff, who's a carpenter, tells me that from his years in business, if you're not cutting wood, you need to be sharpening the saws. So what we're doing around here, while we're not going out very often because of the, well, really hardly at all with the COVID situation, is trying to get things ready for for our summer and fall event schedule. So a lot of our spring brides have had to move to the summer and the fall, and normally we do a lot of this maintenance in November because it's downtime for us, but a lot of those dates are getting filled up with reschedules. So we're taking this time while we're not out on the road so much to do some things behind the scenes. So anyway, last week if you tuned in, I'll show this. One of the things that I showed you real quick was some of the stuff that we do on a weekly basis and on an annual basis to keep this stuff going. And on a weekly basis, we run through this right here, which this is an old one I just drug out of a file, but we have like a 25 item checklist that we go through to make sure that if something's not right, we catch it on Monday on the way to the gas station and not on Saturday on the way to your wedding or event. Well, so last night we had proof positive of a situation like that. So this is Catherine. Everybody knows Catherine that follows our page, the 51 Rolls-Royce Silver Wraith limousine, freestone and web body. So Anil, my roommate, who's also a chauffeur here at Coates Classic Cars and helps out in the shop, and I have kind of been quarantined here in the shop working on things. And we had this thing pulled out where Billy is there last night so we could work on Jack, who we'll get to in a second. And when he was pulling it back in the car, pulling it back in the garage, which he likes to drive this car, he gets all giddy every time he gets in it. But anyway, he comes in and I hear a chirping noise. And I don't like chirping noises. Catherine's not supposed to make chirping noises. So I get to looking. I'm not sure if you can see it here. I don't think I can get the camera down to it, but this is the belt that runs the generator, the fan, water pump, and all that. Yeah, there's not quite enough light. I get to looking around the thing with a mirror, a little dental mirror, and it's got a crack in it. So that's kind of a case in point of the things that we want to find early in the week. So just happen to have one on the shelf, which we try to keep things laying around for stuff like that. So that's one of the reasons why we charge what we charge, is there's a parts inventory that goes along with this stuff and a process to try to make it as close to 100% reliable as we can possibly get it, which involves checklisting these things long before they ever go out. So when I get off this video, it looks like I'll be putting a belt on Catherine. I've got one here, thank goodness, because I'm not real sure if the parts store is open right now. So the other thing that happens, that's kind of the weekly basis stuff, is I'll show you this, is the annual stuff, and that's what we're doing to Jack right now. So that would be the weekly bit that goes along, and let's get that out of here, we don't need that. And then there's like 7 pages of an annual checklist that we go through, and you can see it's everything from oil and filter to checking compression on the engine to lubricating things, going through the brakes and all that. So I'll show you a little bit about what's going on there. This is Jack. Jack is a 1952 Buick Special. This car, so my good friend Brett, who normally would be here with us in the shop, except for the COVID situation, and I ran into this car, well, not literally, but found this car at Hershey. So Hershey, Pennsylvania, every year is the world's largest car show and swap meet. There's like 9,000 flea market vendors, and just 250,000 people, I think, is the number that shows up over the course of that week, in and out. And they have a car corral of things for sale. So back in 2011, October of 2011, you usually do it the first week of October, we found this thing. 47,000 original miles on it at that time. Original paint, original chrome, original stainless, all original upholstery. I'll show you the interior of the thing. So I've got towels on it so it doesn't get, messed up. But this is like wool on this part and nylon here, and the headliner's wool and all that. And it's just, it's a time capsule. It's never been messed with. So we actually bought this from a broker selling it for the family of the original owner. It's got Pennsylvania inspection sticker from the 80s when it was being driven, and in its original 1952-53, obviously it was a Pennsylvania car. So I bought this from a broker selling it for the family of the original owner and drove it 900 miles home. And we put it in wedding service, and it's been a fantastic car for us. So it's its turn right now while we're not cutting wood, as they say. We're sharpening the saws, and we're sharpening the saws on this one. So I've cleaned and painted under here a few years ago, but as far as I know, this motor's never been out. This car has like 67,000 miles on it from new now. We've put about 20,000 miles on it during the, 9 years now that we've had it. And so far, so good. Got the fluids out of it. Everything that came out of it looked good. Spark plugs all look good. Little bit of carbon, but no oil, no scary business, none of that. Take care of all that. So running down through this thing, probably have it buttoned up. Yeah, maybe this afternoon, but except for the belt on Catherine, not sure how that'll take me a little while. But she'll be running back around. Or he'll be running back around. If we had an event in it this weekend, it'd be ready. So this one's a little ahead of schedule for what an annual inspection would normally take us. It usually takes about a week to go through the car, but this one's taken about 3 days. So this one didn't really need anything too severe. Brakes look pretty good. We done those a couple of years ago. Show you on this side because it looks a little better. And I'll get a little technical here because there are some folks that follow our page. This car does still have the ball bearing style wheel bearings in it, which you see in some of these old cars. I'll show these for the car guys that follow us. And you want to make sure these are not tracked up, got grooves in them, got heat marks on them or anything like that. Those look good, so we'll just clean them and grease them and put them back in. We've done the wheel cylinders on this car a few years back, so they still look good. No leaks, no runs, no drips, no errors, as they say. We'll have to replace this wheel seal here in order to get this bearing out to grease it, because you always damage it when it comes out. So I've got a couple of those on the way. Fuel gauge was given a little bit of a trouble in this car, so I've got a sending unit coming for that. Thank God they still make a new sending unit that goes in the gas tank for that. So while we got it off, one of the things I love about this car is the hood. You can see there's not even a hood on it. So this is a view of Jack that most people don't normally get. But the hood, the latches are here. So actually, when you open the hood, it opens sideways. And you can open it left or you can open it to the right. Well, if you pull both sets of latches at the same time, the hood will come completely off. And if you have a helper, which I had a Neil here yesterday with me, and we just pulled the hood off and set it on sawhorses. So really easy as far as maintenance goes. I think we'll do some paint work on that hood while it's off too. It's getting time. It's getting a little crackly and that sort of thing. It doesn't show up in photos, and I hate to paint it because it's original, but sometimes you just got to do it. So got the paint over there on the shelf for that. So Catherine's getting a belt. Jack finishing up on his annual inspection. I got a box of, well, actually, let's see. I got a box of parts over there on the shelf that just came in for Eleanor. Eleanor's covered up right now, but that's our 29 Hudson. Getting her ready to come out of retirement. Christmas time for her. Oh, look here. This is one thing we'll show. So car guys, especially car guys in Alabama, Mississippi, the Carolinas. So we're actually a dealer for Universal Vintage Tire and for Coker Tire, who manufacture these reproduction tires for old cars, white walls, black walls, whatever you want. This is one off of Jack, and there's two more over there bound up in the floor that just came for Jack, and then two more on the other side of the car. So we pulled this one off. It was showing a little bit of wear right here on the outside. Looked good through the middle, but the outer two grooves were starting to show some wear. So I got new tires for that. Car guys that follow our page, if you need tires like that, we don't install them, but we have a shop right up the street under normal circumstances that when we're all not quarantined, that can install them. But we can get you these, and we can get you these for the same price that you could get them from Coker or Universal for. The benefits is a lot of times we can put them in with one of our orders, so the shipping is less, or at least it can be less. And then also, you've got somebody that you can come and yell at if they're not right. So car guys that follow us, I don't really want to get in the tire business, but if you're around and you want us to order you something, we order stuff from these guys pretty regularly, and can get those in for you. And on that subject, one of the things that we're doing that I'll probably do to Jack's while Jack's wheels are off is I've started experimenting with powder coating wheels. This is Billy. So Billy's our 1978 Dodge Power Wagon farm truck, and this is like original unrestored scruffy. We use it for some weddings, but we use it for senior portraits and stuff like that mainly. We had these sandblasted and powder coated, and the powder coat's a lot like paint, except it's applied in an electrostatic process and it's baked on in an oven, so it ends up with a really hard, kind of a thick, dense coating that's chip resistant. It doesn't want to fade, it doesn't want to come off, and it really takes quite a bit of effort to get it to come off stuff. So I've started, obviously we have some wheels like the ones on Catherine that are the coral color that matches the car. We can't very well do that, at least not very easily, with powder coat, but stuff like Jack's, they're just black, and most of them are covered up by the hubcap. I think we're going to do that to this one, so we'll let you know how that turns out. And if any of you car guys around here want to get some wheels powder coated and some tires for them, then we'll be glad to hook you up on that. So, like I said, Christmas time for Eleanor. Got parts here for her. Just got a call from the machine shop yesterday where we have the engine for Lucy. Lucy is our 51 Cadillac that we're restoring. Motors down at the machine shop. Just got the crankshaft back for that. Being reground and waiting on the engine kit to come in so we can reassemble the engine for that. I got a box of parts over here from the nice people at Flying Spares over in the UK for the one of our Rolls-Royce Silver Cloud projects. I don't want to talk about how much money's in this box, but things we need at any rate. So I hope everybody's doing well. You'll find us online at ridebackintime.com. My reservations coordinators they work from home. They work from home normally, not just because of what's going on right now, but they normally work from home. So they are answering inquiries for new reservations for weddings and other type events for the rest of the year. Like I said last week, I want to encourage anybody that is getting married on a Saturday from June through December of 2020. A lot of our Saturdays are filling up, and they're filling up quickly because not only from our regular demand, but also from our folks that are having to reschedule their weddings that would have been in the spring. So jump on that if you haven't. I'll be glad to take care of you on that. And if you have any questions, comment them on here. I know, like I said before, there are some folks that follow our page that are car enthusiasts, and sometimes we get technical questions, so we can address those as they come up. Everybody have a great remainder of your week, and let us know how we can help.